friends, to another episode of Recovery Daily Podcast. My name is Rachel Miller. I'm a stroke survivor and a recovering alcoholic. And today's topic is from pride to authentic living. But before I get into the topic, I wanted to talk about real quick that I created this podcast to save myself from a sinking sadness that was a result of having to leave my career that I love due to my neurological vision impairment from my stroke in June of 2021. I'm here to focus on living a sober life as I navigate my new life as a disabled 49-year-old woman. I don't want to pick up a drink or a drug, so I picked up the phone and asked for help to create this podcast account. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me stay sober and channel my fears into a platform that I can help other survivors. So today's episode is about how pride can blind us so much that we can't grow and change from within. And if I can't change people, places, and things, which I talk about all the time, and I can't change myself, then that only leaves me drunk. And I may only be one drunk away from death. You know, if I drank again, who knows if I'd be able to get back here. And I just can't risk that. And pride blinds me from my character defects, the areas in my life that I need to look at to grow and change. So gratitude has helped me to get out of myself and my bullheaded mind to humble me. My daily gratitude is a powerful exercise that helps me look at my misfortunes, my adversity, and guide me towards doing the next right thing, towards growth. I shared on the Recovery Daily Podcast Facebook page. If you aren't aware that there is one, there is. So pop on over there and like it, follow it. But I shared on that page a quote, and it said, "Courage isn't having strength to go on. It's going on when you don't have the strength." And that's by Napoleon Bonaparte. So a lot of the stuff that defined me prior to my stroke has changed. My determination, though, hasn't changed. And I realized that today when I was listening to an event where it was by the founder of Stroke Onward. She was speaking. Her name is Deborah Meyerson, and she was speaking alongside her husband, Steve Zuckerman. And she is a stroke survivor and had just an enormous stroke that she's lucky really to be alive. And to sit there and listen to her courage to speak. She has aphasia, so she is, really challenged to speak. And her husband, oh my gosh, it's just beautiful to watch them as a team as he helps her when there are certain words that are a little more difficult to get out. He'll help her, but you cannot listen to her speak without being inspired. And towards the end of her presentation, she mentioned that her determination hasn't changed. And I realized in that moment that that's another thing that hasn't changed in me. That's another anchor to my identity, who I've always been. And I've been talking about how when I got sober, I redefined myself into this new sober Rachel version 2.0. And now, as a stroke survivor, I've been settling into sober stroke survivor Rachel version 3.0. And it's so nice to have a moment when, like an aha moment, where I get to identify a quality inside of me that anchors me to who I've always been. And some of those that I've been able to uncover over the past 4 months as I've been, after I left my job and I've been trying to figure out, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Some of those qualities are my sensitivity, which used to make me feel like it was a, a defect, a character defect. And now I feel like it's one of my superpowers. And my ability to be empathetic, sometimes I think the only one that suffers from that is me, when sometimes I'm a little too empathetic, meaning that I will almost shut my eyes and put myself in the position of the person who is suffering. I don't know why I do it, but it's not healthy for me to do that. However, right, it is a superpower also. It helps me help other people. And I've talked about my values over the past several months: communication, health, and learning. Those are also anchors to my identity. And then today, uncovering this idea about determination. That's another anchor, something that has always been inside of me. So that's pretty cool that I got to realize that today. The vulnerability that I've challenged within me to broadcast my story here, my experience, strength, and hope, this has been an endeavor in aligning the identity that I've presented to the world throughout my whole life with the identity that nobody has seen. The one that has been bent and broken and beaten up from mental health challenges, alcoholism, and now my stroke. The identity with all the bruises and the scars from traumatic experiences that I don't talk about, but I've finally started looking at as a part of my sobriety program. I'm determined to shed false pride and embrace my authentic self. And you know why? It's because my friends are dying. My friends are dying from the same fatal disease of alcoholism and addiction that I have living inside of me, and I'm still here. It's not worth it to stay quiet anymore. And I don't have to be perfect at this podcast, at any of this stuff. In fact, my flaws are accurately represented by how imperfectly I am doing this. Pride stands in the way of having true friends, not drinking buddies, but true friends, where your hearts swell at the same joy, your hearts ache with the same pain, and you don't worry about if you sound silly or crazy. Those kinds of friends. Pride isolates me and keeps me from being present for others. By removing pride, I can channel the energy from my fears and my pain and my anxiety to make a positive change in the world, even if it's just one person. Sometimes my pride looks like comparing myself to others, and I fall into this terrible sinkhole way more than I'd like to admit. this is just another way that I torture myself. I can't seem to turn my thinker off ever. I can easily fall into thoughts that I'm not good enough, I'm super anxious, and I'm unable to do whatever, fill in the blank. And my best thinking since since I was, up until I was 42, got me drunk. And today my solution is to turn off that wanter. Let my sobriety program guide me. And it's been so easy for me to adapt my sobriety program to my stroke recovery. And because of that, because of the inspiration that I have gotten from being able to apply my recovery from my stroke to the steps that I have worked in my sobriety program, I've been wanting to share it. And I do that a lot. A lot of these episodes where I'm talking about the challenges that I face with my vision impairment and some of my other disabilities that are, I'm still trying to figure out what they are. I'm going to doctors, I'm going to these neurologists, and I went to a neurologist today actually. And then I'll be going to the neuro-ophthalmologist, I'll be going to the neuropsychiatrist. I say a different one every time. I think I go back and forth between the neuropsychiatrist and the neuropsychologist. Anyway, so I've been able to easily adapt my program. I just call it my program now because it's my entire mental health program, recovery program from alcoholism, recovery from my stroke. It's just my program. And I allow it to guide me. And I turn off my wanter. I do the next right thing, which lately the next right thing is a nap. That's what it looks like for me. The next right thing is sharing my experience, what I'm feeling like, the pain that I feel in my head, all of that stuff. And then my strength and hope, which it tends to turn into because I'm talking about it. And the next right thing for me is participating in my life. It's getting up and getting dressed. I've been doing this amazing recovery daily fashion show. I started it on Facebook. I just added it to Instagram. But there's just been a huge outpouring of support because it started with my niece taking me shopping, my niece and her friend taking me shopping, and it has turned into a reason for me to get up and get dressed in the morning. And that's huge. That's huge for people that, take it from me, somebody who is very much a career-oriented person, and walking away from my job, being in my house, being stuck in my house really for 5 months now. I only leave here to go to the doctor, and then once a week I try to go somewhere. And that usually is me walking over to a nail salon that is down the street from my house. And tomorrow I get to go to lunch with some people, it's a lot. It's a lot for my head to be exposed to all of that stimuli. So I'll probably need a couple days rest after I do that. So being in the house so much, um, I was wearing my pajamas all day long, you know? I was putting my hair up in a ponytail and wearing pajamas and being like, what's the point? It's just my Weimaraner and my bulldog here, who are looking at me. And so this support I've been getting with this Recovery Daily fashion show has been so inspiring for me. So by doing all of this, I feel personal liberation, and I'm helping others to channel their energy towards making a positive impact. I have people, here and there that are reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, because of you, I'm baking. I got my sourdough starter out. Because of you, I went online and bought some new clothes, And that's oh my gosh, that's so amazing that I can make a positive impact on somebody else when I'm just trying to get myself moving every day and get myself in a healthy state of mind so that I don't drink, so I don't relapse, so I don't take a drug, so I don't fall into a depression. And together, we find strength and healing, and just let the ripple effect of positive change ride on our coattails, ride on the coattails of our actions. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you fancy yourself an Instagram user, I'm on there and I'm starting to post regularly. So connect with me at Rachel Miller Recovery Daily. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.